Yo, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy Zeddy here, back at it again to drop What If Deku Was the Winter Soldier Part 2. Now, after clicking on this video, you may have actually noticed that the quality of the mic actually probably dropped down just a little bit. Now, the reason being is that my Blue Yeti, the one I just bought, $200 because I bought extra stuff with it, ended up not exactly working. It came to me and, worked a little bit for a couple of days, but it started giving me problems. So I'm returning that one, and instead I'm going to be getting myself a very crispy microphone. One of these days I'm going to be using my friend's microphone because he has a pretty good one for recording music, and he's going to let me borrow it just to see if it would work as a what if mic. That being said, if you guys hear that during the video and you guys notice that, then comment down below. New mic. However, for now we're going to be sticking with the handy dandy blue snowball. That being said though, guys, I hope you guys go on to enjoy the what if. As always, this video is sponsored. Check my links in the description. With that being said, let's get started. They arrive at Dagoma Beach when Deku would immediately look towards All Might's direction. He would say, "So, how do we start?" All Might would look at Deku and basically buff up into his giant form as he would say, "Well, kid, for starters, I want to find out a little bit more about you." He would ask Deku a couple of questions about his home life, and Deku would actually answer with a lie. He would tell All Might that he has stable living conditions, and he wouldn't actually tell All Might the truth of his backstory or that he isn't exactly in the best, home situation. This one, he would basically just tell All Might that, he's fine, he lives with his parents, he has this little metal arm because he was born without one. He would just lie to All Might, and All Might would just listen to this, say, alright, he would just listen in on Deku, and this is when Deku would basically just kind of tell All Might, what's his story. All Might would explain one for all a little bit more and be like, yeah, so as I said, all for one is this evil bad guy. He'd explain like little things such as that, and Deku would be like, This one All Might would say, "Alright, kids, so that all out of the way, we're going to begin your training by having you clear the beach." Deku would look at All Might as he would say, "So you want me to clean the beach? The entirety, right?" All Might would say, "Yeah, should take you a while." Deku would immediately smirk and say, "You have no idea," as he would basically proceed to use that cybernetic arm to throw and crush the beach, the little stuff on the beach. And in case you guys are wondering how long it would take Deku to clear the beach, I'm going to be saying that it actually ends up taking him about 2 months to clear the entirety of Dagoma Beach, front to back. That being said, Deku during those days would have worked in the morning, seeing as he does online school, and he does online school during the nighttime. So Deku gets most of his rest around like middle of the night. He gets about 6 hours of sleep, which isn't exactly the best, but it's not exactly the worst either. That being said though, Deku would basically finally be at the beach as he finally ended up cleaning it, and All Might would ask Deku, how it was that he did this so fast. You would be so impressed by him, saying that he was impressed by the fact that he cleared half of it in 1 month, and he knew that in no time he was basically going to finish off the entirety of the beach. So All Might ended up basically plucking out a piece of his hair and basically tells Deku that he's now going to finally inherit the quirk, one for all. This is when Deku would smirk and think that this is going to be real. He's truly going to become a pro hero. Just like Logan always wanted. Deku would look at All Might as he would say, "So, how do I get the quirk?" As All Might would say, "Eat this." And Deku would be like, whoa, man. I'm going to need you to calm down there, buddy. I'm not eating that piece of hair. All Might would say, "Well, to take my quirk, you have to ingest my DNA." This is when Deku would say, "Come on, bro. I know there's a better way to do this. Like, is there anything better than hair?" As All Might would say, "Not really." And Deku would then be like, "Ugh," as he would grab that little piece of hair and eat it, as he would begrudgingly just be like, "Ugh." And this is when All Might would just basically start laughing, saying, "That's the same reaction I had with my master a couple years ago." As Deku would say, "Yeah, speaking of your master, what was she like?" All Might would sit down on the beach as he would begin to talk to Deku, and spoiler alerts, For anybody who actually, I'm pretty sure that All Might has talked about his master, Nana Shimura. All Might would begin to sit down and tell Deku stories about his master. I'm not exactly going to go into detail for those of you who are not that far ahead in the manga yet. So I'm just going to say that All Might talks to Deku about his master and explain how, you know, she was a very beautiful young woman who was an amazing hero. And luckily, she ended up choosing him. He would explain to Deku that he was quirkless too once. And Deku would say, "Really?" As All Might would reveal to Deku that, yeah, he was a quirkless person once as well. And honestly, guys, I'm not sure if All Might really is quirkless. I mean, no other One For All user has been able to buff up and get in the way that All Might does. I mean, I understand respiratory system injury, but it's like, I don't exactly think that it should do that to a person where they shrink. It just doesn't make any sense. That being said, though, this is when Deku would basically, after hearing All Might out, would say, yeah, she sounds like an awesome person. Deku would smile and look outside to the beach. As he would then say, "So, do I just get the powers immediately, or what?" As he would stand up and dust the sand off of his pants. All Might would immediately say, "Eager to get started. I like that." He would say, "Well, these are about to be the worst 8 months of your life." And this is when Deku and All Might would begin sparring and training for the next couple of 10 months. For the first month, Deku would basically do a bit of a training on getting a grasp of One For All and basically learning a couple of, actually no, I'm going to say that it took him about 5 days to learn One For All and get to a solid 35% full cowling because of the fact that Deku is a literal unit, bro. The man is a Chad. Like, look at the picture up on screen. You guys see the Winter Soldier? Actually, I probably don't have it up on screen, but Future Zether, please put the picture on screen, please, 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 please. So now the picture probably is going to be on screen. Not sure, but if it isn't, it's basically the one on the thumbnail. Deku is pretty ripped and he has long hair. Not only that, but his hair is actually black because he dyes it in the little private stuff. But later on, Deku's actually going to end up taking that off and actually having normal green long wavy hair. Because I mean, green Winter Soldier hair, that actually kind of sounds dope. That being said, he and All Might would sit along the beach and just talk for a couple of more hours as he would continue the training. And this went about 4 months into the training, actually. All Might would end up actually following Deku home, telling him that he'll drop him off, as he would be using his car, using that symbol of peace money, to actually get Deku a ride to his house, where Deku would end up having to lie and get driven about 2 blocks, no, like let's say 16 blocks before his house. And All Might would notice that Deku didn't exactly immediately end up going inside of the house that he pointed to. All Might would continue to follow Deku as he would realize that Deku doesn't have the greatest living situation. All Might would confront Deku about this, asking him why he didn't tell him this, and Deku would say that he doesn't really want to tell people about his personal life. He would look at All Might and say that he has a bit of money saved up and that he can now afford his own apartment, and All Might would say that why would you have to afford your own apartment? This is when Deku would immediately look towards All Might's direction as he would say, "There's some things about me, All Might, that I just can't tell you." All Might would go into his buff form and say, "I gave you the quirk One For All. I need to know." He would immediately tell Deku to get inside of the cars. Deku would, and he would then proceed to tell All Might everything. He would spill the beans on his past, the private facility where he trained in as a young boy, why he's so developed in martial arts and stuff like that, and even explained to Deku that he actually ran away and was the only survivor out of his entire group. Had it not been for the fact that Deku escaped, he would have died. The what if would have ended in about 5 seconds, so yeah, couldn't exactly have that happen. And All Might would just be shocked by the revelation. This kid has gone through so much at just the age of 14. Not even a 15-year-old kid at this point, and he's already gone through all of these hardships. Deku's going to turn 15 in the next month. But All Might was shocked at this. He would look towards Deku and tell him that he can move into his house, as Deku would say that he doesn't want to be a bother, and All Might would say that that's nonsense, that he's going to be moving in now, whether he likes it or not. Deku would grab his things, grab the money that he's been saving up for the last couple of months, and Deku would end up going to All Might's house, as he would get a room which would actually have a bathroom in it and a walk-in closet. And Deku would say that this place is incredible. How does he afford something like this? All Might would say that being the symbol of peace doesn't exactly not give you money. I mean, being the symbol of peace has its benefits. Deku would look at All Might as he would say, "I'd say, I'm going to be living like you one day, All Might. I'll never have to experience the lifestyle that I did before. And I'll tell you one thing, All Might. When I get as much money as you do, I'm going to be helping people out who are in my situation. People who can't exactly afford their own homes. People who were put under unfortunate circumstances. I'm going to help them all. I'm going to be a hero not just for people who need saving, but for people who don't even know that they do. All Might would get a bright smile on his face as he would say that he's glad that he chose him, putting his arm on top of Deku's shoulder. This is when Deku would smirk, and for the next following months, Deku would just progressively increase the percentage of One For All, to the point where by the time that Deku gets to UA, he can use a comfortable 60% of One For All's true power, because of the fact that Deku is the Winter Soldier. Being honest, he could probably use a solid 70, but I kind of want to make the story a little balanced, so I'm just going to be saying that he can use about 60%. That being said, Deku at this point would have finally been to the point where the 10 months are over, and Deku would end up actually taking the recommendation exam, thanks to the compliments of All Might. All Might ends up telling Deku not to show off his true strength, and to not really use One For All unless it's 100% necessary. Because, you know, it's going to be a little weird if some kid just pops up. Actually, not really, it wouldn't be weird, but he doesn't want Deku to show all of his cards just yet, to shock people, as Deku would understand what All Might means, and of course make it to the exam place, as he would of course take the recommendation exam, and of course end up passing. He would meet people such as Todoroki, Momo Yaoyorozu, and other people along those lines. After that, Deku would end up basically passing, because it's like, you know, it doesn't exactly seem like the hardest thing in the world. And afterwards, Deku would end up going to All Might's house as he would rest. For the following next 2 days, Deku would simply wait for his UA acceptance letter. However, Deku would already know that he's accepted. He talks to Nezu every now and then because of the fact that Deku was brought up to Nezu and introduced formally because of the fact that he is the successor of One For All. Not only that, but Deku uses UA's facility to train every once in a while, using zero pointers and things such as that to test the limits of his powers. Deku at this point, spoiler alert, has unlocked about 4 of the quirks of One For All. He can now use the abilities of Float, Black Whip, Danger Sense. Not only that, but Deku also has Smokescreen at this point. And the man is pretty broken, to say the least. That being said, this is when Deku would basically proceed to have actually mastered all of these abilities by the time that he has his first day at UA. Deku is a living super soldier by God, so it's like, come on now, like, he was obviously going to get a big percentage of One For All off rip, and I'm pretty sure many of you guys already knew that that was coming. That being said, sorry for the little background noise, but that being said, this is when Deku would finally enter UA as his first day. Deku would walk into the classroom as he would be one of the last people to walk inside. At this point, Aizawa would have already told everybody to get changed and all that stuff, and he would look towards Aizawa's direction. As he would nod, Aizawa would just say, go with them, as Deku would end up going into the fitting room and getting into his clothes. Deku inside of the fitting room would basically be looking like a literal Greek god, and Kirishima would of course notice this, seeing as Deku is absolutely shredded. He would say, dude, you look so manly. He would say, what's your workout, bro? As he would go up to Deku and dab him up. Deku would shake him up, and this is when they would both basically just begin to talk a little bit. Deku would realize that Kirishima is actually pretty chill, and he and Kirishima would actually end up hitting it off pretty soon. This is when Deku would end up getting approached by Kaminari and Mineta, and Mineta, seeing as instead of looking at the girls' bodies, he's actually looking at Deku's, no homo, because of the fact that Deku is so shredded. The man Mineta wants to get like that to get the girls. And so Deku would begin to explain to Mineta that, you know, he could probably get like that as well. Deku would talk to all 3 of them on his way outside until Aizawa finally ends up throwing the ball to Katsuki Bakugo, the man who's going to be responsible for throwing it first, because without no Deku in the entrance exam, Bakugo would have definitely been the one to win. Actually, no, Bakugo was already the one to win because in canon he won. So yeah, Bakugo would get the ball thrown, as he would of course get the same scores that he would in canon. Now, when it comes for the little exam and stuff like that, when it comes to the little ball throw, Deku using a cybernetic arm only would end up getting a grand total of 670 something meters, barely, actually no, 799 meters, barely being able to destroy Bakugo's score. Bakugo, seeing this, would get pretty angry, but seeing as the fact that Deku has a cybernetic arm, Bakugo just says that, you know, he cheated because technically, you know, it's not even his strength, it's the strength of the robot arm. That being said, Deku would go on to continue doing the rest of the test. The grip strength, Deku doesn't even use a cybernetic arm and crushes the machine. When it comes to the 50-meter dash, Deku is faster than everybody, including Ida, without One For All. And with the setups and push-ups and stuff like that, Deku crushes it. Side to side steps, forget about it. And when it comes to the long jump, Deku clears the field. I mean, it's easy. When everybody sees what Deku's scores are and the fact that Deku's at the top of the list, people would definitely be impressed by Deku's scores. But Deku would look at them all saying that, you know, there really is no secret. You just gotta train. I mean, everybody can get to that point. He's a human. He doesn't even he's not even using his quirk, he would say, as everybody would be completely shocked. And they would ask how you do it. Deku would then look at his hoodie and say, well, I do it by, you know, wearing this drippy fandom merch. Yup. It's about that time that I introduced the sponsor of today's video. That being said, this is when Future Zedder is actually going to be taking it away and telling you guys about my amazing sponsor, Fandom. Alright, so now it's time to tell you guys about Fandom. Now, Fandom is an online merch store company that sells pretty much anime apparel. Anything ranging from My Hero Academia to One Piece, from Demon Slayer to Naruto. They have a bunch of options to choose from, and up on screen right now, you guys should be able to see a bunch of options. Whether it be Tokyo Revengers, maybe I might put One Punch Man, maybe not. Maybe there will be Jujutsu Kaisen up there. Maybe there will be, another anime that I can think of, Dragon Ball. Maybe Dragon Ball might be there. They have pretty much any anime merch that you guys would want to wear. They pretty much have it, and it's at a very reasonable price, seeing as right now they're having a 50% sale on their already affordable stuff. So if you've ever wanted to get yourself some anime apparel, then I would definitely suggest going to Fandom. Anytime you guys go out there and you guys see a shirt or design that's from an anime like store-ish thing, they're always overpriced. See, a normal shirt that you'll find at a store will probably run you about $30. On Fandom, it'll be way cheaper. A hoodie? Don't even talk about how expensive a hoodie would be at a real store. And not only that, but Fandom does very good rates when it comes to shipping. So what are you waiting for, guys? Go shop at Fandom now. And with my code Zedder, you can even get 5% off your order. So what are you waiting for? Make sure you guys go onto Fandom and copy yourself some merch for your boy. That being said, Zedder out. Alright, so after hearing about Fandom, I'm guessing many of you guys want to get right back into the story. So let's do just that. Alright, so we basically hop back into the story after the sponsor, and Deku ends up finally going home. This is when Aizawa would tell Deku to meet him after class, as Aizawa would actually end up asking Deku if he would like to learn something that he actually can teach him. Deku would ask what he's talking about when Aizawa unravels the scarf and shows Deku what exactly he was talking about. He would shoot it at Deku as Deku would move to the side by instinct, grabbing the scarf and pulling it, causing Aizawa to get yanked as Deku would go in to punch Aizawa, but this is when his reflexes would stop and Deku would show Aizawa his killer moves. Aizawa, after seeing this, would say, so fluent, there's not a single wrong movement in your muscles. He would use his quirk, destruction quirk, and this is when, not destruction, but quirk, nullifying quirk. He would use his quirk to nullify Deku's quirk, alright? I'm sorry that I had a brain fart right there, but yeah, he would use that, and he would realize that Deku wasn't lying. He's truly not using any quirks, not mimicking his movements, not doing anything at all to have perfect, balance in his movements, but Aizawa would be impressed. And this one, for the next couple of hours, Aizawa would begin to teach Deku how to use his scarf. For the next following week or so, Aizawa was definitely going to be training Deku. However, the next day would come around, and of course, this is going to be in the week of training that Deku's going to have to learn the scarf, would end up basically going to school. The day would be pretty normal as it would go by pretty fast. And this is when All Might would finally go into the classroom saying, I am here, coming in like a normal person. Of course, everybody in the classroom would get so excited by this, be like, oh my god, it's All Might. People would get so shocked and just being like, dude, why are you not freaking out? This is when Deku would say that, it's just All Might, man. It's nothing that crazy. All Might's a symbol of peace, man. Like, come on now, it's not that insane. All Might would walk up to Deku and say, come on, man. Like, you had to get a little excited, at least make them think you care about me. As Deku would be like, oh, All Might, just faking it to get into All Might's nerves. All Might would kind of, scoff at this and just be like, all right, whatever. As it's at this point that he would basically tell them all, all right, guys, why don't we all get suited up, because we all know the clothes make the pros. As everybody would put on their gear, and Deku would be wearing the amazing Winter Soldier outfit. As soon as everybody sees what Deku's outfit is going to be, the girls would immediately want Deku's DICK, and the guys, no homo, but they would as well, because it's like, come on, bro, look at the Winter Soldier. The man is an absolute Chad. He is the definition of a Chad. Like put it simply, bro, the man is an absolute unit. That being said, Deku would then basically proceed to go outside as people would begin to tell Deku that costume is awesome. And this is when the teams would basically get announced. Of course, just like in canon, Deku would get teamed up with Uraraka against Bakugo and Ida. And Bakugo, not knowing anything of Deku, would just kind of be like, get ready to get crushed, nerd. As he would look towards Uraraka's direction and say, you're going to be handled by Four Eyes over here. As Ida would say, how dare you speak to me that way? As they would both go to the top of the bomb room, and they would end up basically hiding it at the top of the place. This is when Ida would end up being lumped in there, just told that he's going to be the one defending it by Bakugo. Because Bakugo, quote unquote, wants to put that new kid in his place, that Izuku Midoriya kid. No, we're going to be named, yeah, Deku's still going to have the name Izuku Midoriya. He said, we're going to be putting that kid in his place. He would then basically turn towards Ida and walk out of the room. As Ida would say, buffoon, how dare you lump me in here and call me Four Eyes? You don't even address me by my name. This is when Deku and Uraraka would be outside, as Deku at this point would basically click a button on his arm, as it would literally show an infrared scanner, as he would aim the arm at the building and it would then show the warm signals. He would see the signal of both Bakugo and Ida. Deku would look at Uraraka as he would say, alright, so all the way at the top floor, you're going to be taking a right and a left, and that's where the bomb room is going to be at. I'm going to need you to take the left stairs to get there because Bakugo's coming down from the right. He's going to be here in about approximately 20 seconds. Go. Uraraka would say, what? She would go off, and then she would basically just have to remember what it was that Deku said. This is when Deku would then proceed to hear some voices coming in, as he would hear Izuku. He would then basically hear Bakugo coming in with an explosion. He would throw a big right hand, as Deku would immediately react to this with a move that Deku should definitely not have used on Bakugo, but his instincts just caused Deku to act this way. He would grab Bakugo by the arm as he would elbow his elbow and literally break it backwards, as Bakugo would yell out, and he would throw his left arm in an explosion, but Deku would spin, causing Bakugo to basically break his other arm in the landing. And this is when Deku would basically go up to Bakugo as he would knock him out with one good solid punch with the metal arm to the side of the head. Bakugo would immediately get knocked out, as Deku would then get out of his killer. He would get out of his mindset of basically what is it called when he would get out of the zone that he was in, because Deku was trained in how to kill a man ever since Deku was 6 years old. He was shown every single way to kill a man. So Deku's training sometimes snaps in at the wrong moments, and Deku ends up doing a little bit more than people wanted him to. And this was just one of those small occasions. But, I mean, Bakugo's a DICK head, so he kind of deserves it. And for those of you wondering why I don't say the actual words, it's because I don't want the yellow check on my videos. That being said, though, Deku would immediately realize what he did, say he's sorry, tie Bakugo up, and then basically proceed to rush over to Uraraka. He would say, you ready? As Uraraka would rush into the room and say, I'm gonna stop you, villain, causing Ida to get distracted and go into his super villain mode. As he would say, aha, I knew you were gonna come in, so I hit everything in the room, just kind of being like an evil villain in his eyes. As Deku would immediately activate One for All and blitz towards the bomb. Nobody in the cameras would be able to react or see how fast Deku moved, as Deku's hand would be on the bomb, and this is when All Might would say, time's up. That's where we're going to be ending the video for today, guys. This is when I would come in and say, yup, that's where today's video is going to be ending. I hope you guys went on to enjoy today's What If Deku Was the Winter Soldier part, and I hope you guys go on to enjoy the next one, because the next part, we're definitely going to be covering the USJ and possibly a little bit of the UA Sports Festival. That being said, though, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure to hit that red button to subscribe to the channel, as well as hit that like button. Also, in case you guys can hear my dog barking in the background, apologies for that. But yeah, with that being said, I love each and every single one of you guys. It has been your boy Zether, and I am out. Peace.